The world is not what it seems. Beneath the smiles, the glances, the soft words, there lies a battlefield unseen, unspoken, but always active. Most men stumble through it, blind to the rules, pawns in a game they don't even know they're playing. They chase, they plead, they pour their hearts into the open air, only to find themselves discarded, confused, and empty. You're here because you felt it, the sting of rejection, the weight of unspoken expectations, the quiet suspicion that there's something deeper, something hidden, that governs the dance of desire. You're not wrong. But suspicion alone won't save you. To win, you must see what 99% of men will never discover: the terrifying true nature of women. The raw mechanics of their minds, and the silent laws that bend them to your will. This is not about love, nor is it about hate. It's about power, cold, unapologetic, and absolute. Imagine a forest at night, shrouded in mist, where every step could lead to a trap. That's the terrain of human attraction. Most men charge in, torches blazing, shouting their intentions, unaware that the creatures of this forest thrive in shadows. They don't hunt with claws or teeth, but with something far deadlier: instinct honed by millennia. A primal calculus of desire that no amount of poetry or promises can sway. Women, in their essence, are not the delicate muses of your fantasies, nor are they the villains of your failures. They are survivalists, driven by a wiring so ancient it laughs at your modern notions of fairness or fidelity. To understand them is to shed your illusions, to strip away the lies society feeds you about equality and love, and to embrace a truth so raw it feels like betrayal. Let's begin with a story. In ancient Egypt, Cleopatra didn't seduce Caesar with beauty alone, though she had that in spades. She understood scarcity, the art of being just out of reach. She arrived in Rome not as a supplicant, but as a spectacle, carried in a rolled carpet, unveiled like a secret no man could resist. She didn't beg for his attention. She commanded it by being singular, unpredictable, a puzzle he couldn't solve. She knew what you must learn: desire is not sparked by presence, but by absence. Most men smother women with their eagerness, texting too soon, confessing too much, laying their cards on the table like fools at a rigged game. Cleopatra would have laughed at such weakness. She'd have seen it for what it is, a surrender of power before the war even begins. You want her to chase you? Then stop chasing, not out of spite, but out of strategy. Machiavelli taught us that power lies in what you withhold, not what you give. When you flood a woman with attention, you cheapen yourself. You become predictable, a resource she can tap at will. But when you withdraw, not dramatically, but with the quiet indifference of a man who has better things to do, you create a void. And the human mind, as Schopenhauer noted, despises a void. It will fill it with obsession, with questions, with a hunger that grows in the dark. This is the first law: scarcity breeds value. Be the man who is not always there, whose time is not hers to claim, whose thoughts are not hers to read. Let her wonder, let her doubt, let her chase the shadow you've left behind. But scarcity alone is not enough. You must master your own mind first, for a man who cannot control himself is a puppet to everyone else. Most men are slaves to their emotions, ruled by the fleeting highs of her smile or the crushing lows of her silence. This is your greatest weakness, and she knows it. Women are not drawn to men who bend, who crumble under pressure. who seek validation like a dog seeks scraps. They are drawn to men who are immovable, who stand like cliffs against the tide of her tests. Emotional detachment is not cruelty. It's clarity. It's the ability to see her not as your savior or your doom, but as a player in a game where you write the rules. Consider Napoleon. He conquered empires not by raging or pleading, but by calculating. When Josephine wavered, when her affection strayed, he didn't chase her with tears. He became distant, preoccupied with wars and ambition. A man whose world didn't revolve around her. And what did she do? She clawed her way back, desperate to reclaim the man who seemed to need her less than she needed him. This is the paradox of attraction. The less you need, the more you are wanted. Detachment is your shield, your sword, your throne. It signals to her primal mind that you are not just another suitor, you are a force, a man who cannot be owned. Now, let's talk about status, not the shallow status of wealth or fame. Though those can open doors, true status is the quiet authority of a man who knows his worth and doesn't need to prove it. Carl Jung spoke of the archetype of the king, the man who embodies order, strength, and purpose. Women don't chase boys who grovel or men who perform. They chase kings who rule their own minds. Status is not loud. It's not the braggart's boast or the influencer's flex. It's the way you carry yourself. The way your silence speaks louder than words. The way your presence shifts the air in a room. You cultivate this by building a life that doesn't depend on her approval. A man with a mission, with a fire that burns brighter than his desire for her, is a man she cannot ignore. But here's where most men falter. They mistake status for arrogance or detachment for apathy. You must wield these tools with precision. Unpredictability is your scalpel. If she can predict your every move, she owns you. If she knows you'll text back in 10 minutes, if she's certain you'll show up when she calls, you're not a king, you're a servant. Break the pattern. Be warm one moment, distant the next. Answer her call today. Let it ring tomorrow, not out of games, but because your life is a labyrinth she's only glimpsing. Cleopatra didn't keep Antony by being reliable. She kept him by being a storm beautiful, chaotic, impossible to pin down. You must be the same. Let her mind spin. Let her wonder what you're thinking. Let her fear that she's losing something she can't quite name. This brings us to power dynamics, the invisible threads that weave through every interaction. Most men think attraction is about being liked, about being nice. But niceness is a trap. It's the surrender of leverage, the admission that you're afraid to lose her. Power is not about cruelty or manipulation. It's about balance. You must hold the frame, the unspoken agreement that you are the prize, not her. This isn't arrogance, it's his psychology. Women test men, not out of malice, but because their biology demands it. They push, they pull, they provoke, searching for the man who won't break. When you pass her tests, not with anger, but with calm indifference, you signal that you're different. You're the one she can't control. Think of Caesar crossing the Rubicon. He didn't negotiate with Rome, he acted, knowing the world would bend to his will. When she tests you, when she's late, when she's cold, when she flirts with another man, don't react like a boy who's been slighted. Smile, withdraw your attention, and let her feel the weight of your absence. Silence is your weapon. It speaks louder than arguments, cuts deeper than insults. She'll feel the shift, and her mind will race to fill the gap. This is leverage, the ability to shape her emotions without saying a word. But leverage requires polarity, the magnetic pull of masculine and feminine. Most men dilute their masculinity, softening their edges to seem modern or sensitive. This is a death sentence. Women don't chase men who mirror them. They chase men who contrast them. Masculine polarity is not about muscles or machismo. It's about presence, decisiveness, the quiet storm of a man who knows where he's going. Be the oak, not the reed. When she sways, you stand. When she storms, you remain. Polarity creates tension, and tension creates desire. Without it, you're just a friend, a comfort, a shadow she'll forget. Now, let's delve deeper into attraction through absence. Most men think presence builds desire: dates, gifts, endless conversations. But presence without purpose is suffocation. Absence is the spark. When you disappear, not out of pettiness, but because your world is vast, she feels the pull of the unknown. Schopenhauer wrote that the will is driven by lack, by what we cannot have. Make yourself the things she cannot fully grasp. Don't vanish for weeks. That's childish. Instead, let your attention ebb and flow. Be the tide that comes and goes, leaving her to wonder when you'll return. This is not a trick. It's psychology. The human mind values what is rare, what is fleeting, what might slip away. Consider the story of Odysseus and Penelope. While he was gone, lost in wars and seas, Penelope wove and unwove her tapestry, fending off suitors, her desire for him growing with every year of his absence. Why? Because he was not there to be taken for granted. His absence made him mythic, larger than life. You don't need to sail to Troy, but you do need to cultivate a life that pulls you away, a purpose, a craft, a battle that demands your focus. When she sees you as a man with a mission, her instinct kicks in. She doesn't want to lose the man who belongs to something greater than her, but absence must be paired with unpredictability. If she knows your rhythm, she'll game you. If she can map your moves, she'll counter them. Be the man who surprises her, not with grand gestures, but with the quiet unpredictability of your choices. Cancel a plan because something came up. Take a call and step away without explaining. Let her see glimpses of a world she's not privy to. This isn't about secrecy. It's about mystery. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must be both lion and fox, bold yet cunning. Your boldness is your presence, your strength. Your cunning is the way you keep her guessing, always one step ahead. Now, let's talk about psychological leverage, the art of shaping her mind without force. Most men try to win women with logic or emotion arguments. Confessions, displays of devotion. These are weaknesses. Leverage comes from understanding her triggers, her fears, her unspoken desires. Every woman fears abandonment, not because she's weak, but because her biology whispers that survival depends on connection. Use this, not to harm, but to guide. When you withdraw your attention, not cruelly, but deliberately, she feels the pang of loss. Her mind scrambles to reclaim what's slipping away. This is not manipulation. It's the dance of power. As old as humanity itself, Napoleon once said, "Never interrupt an enemy when he is making a mistake." Apply this to attraction when she tests you, when she pulls away. Don't rush to fix it. Let her feel the consequences of her actions. Let her sit in the silence of your absence. Most men panic, chasing harder, apologizing for crimes they didn't commit. You must do the opposite. Let her come to you. Let her realize that your attention is not guaranteed, that your world doesn't stop for her whims. This is leverage, the ability to make her want to please you, not because you demanded it, but because she fears losing you. But leverage requires discipline. You cannot wield power if you're a slave to your own desires. Most men are undone by their lust, their need for validation, their fear of being alone. You must kill these weaknesses, meditate on your purpose, build a life that fulfills you without her. Train your mind to see her not as a goddess, but as a human flawed, driven by instinct, capable of being shaped. This is mindset control, the foundation of all power. A man who controls his mind controls the game. Let's return to Cleopatra. Her power wasn't just in her absence or her unpredictability. It was in her ability to embody both light and shadow. She was warm, then cold, devoted, then distant. She mirrored the duality of human desire, the push and pull that keeps the heart restless. You must do the same. Be the man who can make her laugh. Then leave her wondering. Be the man who can ignite her passion. Then walk away without looking back. This duality is what makes you unforgettable. It's what makes her chase. But chasing is not enough. You want her to surrender not her body, but her mind. This is the ultimate victory, the one most men never achieve. Surrender comes when she sees you as the center of her world, not because you forced it, but because you became it. This requires everything we've discussed: scarcity, detachment, status, unpredictability, polarity, leverage. It requires you to be a man who doesn't need her, but who she cannot live without. It requires you to rewrite the rules of the game as we near the end. Let's confront the final truth. The terrifying nature of women is not their cruelty or their cunning, but their power to pull you into their orbit. Most men are consumed by this, losing themselves in the pursuit of her approval. But you are different. You see the game for what it is. You understand that her tests, her silences, her fleeting glances are not personal. They are instinct, biology, the ancient dance of survival. To win, you must rise above it. You must become the man who doesn't just play the game, but owns it. This is your final lesson before the war power is not given. Nor is it taken. It is built, brick by brick, in the silence of your choices. Every time you choose detachment over desperation, scarcity over abundance, mystery over predictability, you forge a piece of that power. She will chase you endlessly, not because you tricked her, but because you became the man she cannot resist, a man who sees her true nature and bends it to his will. The world is a chessboard, and you are no longer a pawn. Move like a king. Let her come to you, and when she does, know that you've won not just her, but yourself.